Zach LaVine missed the Chicago Bulls season opener on Wednesday night against the Miami Heat, which has a lot of Bulls fans worried about
Very
that left
so.
knee that Zach LaVine underwent surgery on in May. But let us know in the comments if you're worried about Zach LaVine's knee and his Bulls' chances of returning to the playoffs and even going further than they did last season. But Matt, I'll toss it up to you, man. Are you worried about these Bulls with LaVine's knee situation early on in the season here?
I mean, I won't even dive into the deep playoff run because the East looks like it has the same powerhouses that it has been having the last few years.
Right.
But just overall, I am a little concerned just because that was a lingering injury he had last year. You saw him try and play through it, but he was clearly hobbled. You didn't have that explosive LaVine that you had most of the beginning of the season,
right,
and what you're used to seeing. And the other thing that I'm a little concerned about, especially with NBA players, is it seems like those lingering issues post-surgery or nagging injuries like that, whether it's a back or a knee, they don't ever seem to go away. It just doesn't seem to have that rehab, and all it takes is one bad step or one bad cut right back into a game, and they're right back to square one. So that overall, his recovery worries me.
Yeah.
And then the question is like, are the Bulls truly prepared to replace him as far as what he brings? They've kind of built this team a little bit around him. So I am concerned that the Bulls will be a good team, but they won't be as great if LaVine can't fully recover.
Yeah, 100%. The Bulls can't be as great as they can be if Zach LaVine obviously isn't 100%. And we saw what they looked like at the second half of last season when
they
Zach
struggled.
LaVine was dealing with that knee injury, missed a few games here and there. So that's obviously a concern, and it's obviously concerning with LaVine's absence in pairing with, obviously, the absence of Lonzo Ball.
Well, we don't even have a timetable.
Right, we don't even really have an idea of when he's going to return. No. You know, he's not even really running at this point, let alone doing basketball activities. So both of those are two cornerstone pieces of the Bulls franchise at this point. And without those two guys, obviously there's going to be a lot of reason for concern. But for the most part, at least early on in the season, I expect the Bulls to keep things afloat, most notably because of DeMar DeRozan, who was an all-NBA performer last year, who looked great this summer. I expect him to continue. And the Bulls' guard depth is kind of slept on. Obviously, they brought in Alex Caruso last year, who was great on both ends of the floor. Ayo Dosunmu is entering year two. I expect him to – he's obviously going to be the starting point guard for the Bulls in place of Lonzo Ball this season. And, you know, you bring in Goran Dragic this offseason. You bring in Kobe White, you know, for another year under his belt. I expect him to continue to move forward. But the guy that I have my eye on really in the absence of Zach LaVine, if he can't really go, is Patrick Williams.
I'm glad you
Patrick Williams has to be the X factor for this Bulls team. He has to be the guy to take another step forward in year three. We saw him, you know, show real flashes late in last year, even in the postseason in the Milwaukee Bucks series in the first round, that, you know, he has real two-way ability and he just needs to be more aggressive. And I think maybe with LaVine's absence, he can do that.
I understand. And I think the biggest concern at that point then is those pieces are very nice, but they were secondary pieces. They were pieces that needed to continue to push forward. And the biggest concern then is that if you don't have LaVine so that you create that kind of three-headed monster of your stars of LaVine, DeRozan, and then Vucevic, I wasn't sure if you actually wanted to call him a star. I know how you feel sometimes about him.
It's a big three.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of. But you're asking a lot of young guys who still don't have that talent. So my question is that going to be enough for this season, or are you going to have to wait until next year when they've had that extra season of success? I don't know if they're going to turn that corner this year without LaVine.
I mean, what does turn the corner look like to you?
I think you look at Dosunmu being a double-digit guy that can go in and drop 15, 20 points maybe. I wonder about Kobe White. I wonder about Caruso had injury issues last year, obviously as well. And Williams, I do want to see what he can do offensively because I think the defensive part of his game has been amazing. I am excited about the Bulls. I just worry if you have that star that has the lingering injury, how quick is it going to fall apart just because you're worried every time LaVine goes up for a dunk or takes it to the rack?
For sure. I think at the very least, I think the Bulls are handling it right. I mean, obviously you don't want to see your star player missing the season opener, but, hopefully they're able to manage this thing, and hopefully Zach is feeling better as his season rolls along as they most likely load manage him. But I think the Bulls' depth is going to help them, and I think they're also still a really well-coached team under
for
Billy
sure.
Donovan as well.
They're
So
one of
that's
the
gonna bode
reasons
well.
the East looks amazing and is actually really exciting to watch. So
No doubt
hopefully
about
they
it.
can figure it out. But
Eastern Conference playoff race is going to be very interesting. I expect the Bulls to be in the thick of it. But let us know in the comments if you're worried about the Bulls and Zach LaVine this season. Let us know.
baloney.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.